so I questioned her in the courtroom about it, and they called a timeout. Their side did, because I was getting too close to, a problem for them. And that was this John Palumbo getting all this money. And so they took a 15-minute break and came back, and she's up on the witness stand all, ready for me and all like that, had her answer ready to go. And before I even asked anything, he says, well, about all that money, Mr. Palumbo was just buying dog food for my dogs. He was taking care of the dogs, And this is like $4,000-$6,000 a month
worth of
for 10
dog
dogs.
food.
Yeah, for 10 dogs. But also in the check register, right next to John Palumbo's checks, many times would be a check to a company called Bill Jack, and Bill Jack is a dog food company in Ohio.
Whoa!
And so she was buying pallets of dog food from Bill Jack, the distributor, and having it delivered. And so she was spending a few $1,000s a month.
Extra on it, right.
Well, and so I just put it all up there and said, so I let her declare that the money for Palumbo was all about dog. And then I come up and said, I did like a Columbo thing. Oh, I'm trying to get my head around this. Maybe this will put it out. So I showed her the check of the Bill Jack, and the multiple checks to Bill Jack, and the multiple checks to Palumbo, totaling up like $40,000.
So how much dog food can you buy?
That's what I asked her. I said, so you've got $8,000 a month or whatever going to Mr. Palumbo for dog food, who's coming and helping you out, and then you got this $3,000 a month to Bill Jack for dog food. And I said, you and I both know that's an awful lot of Bill Jack. And the jury just started laughing,
Did Al?
Because that's an awful lot of bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
Did Al catch on to these receipts, or
they didn't even look at it?
It was right in front of them.
Yeah, but they were going off on a different tactic and trying to take care of things, but they didn't know what they didn't know. And this is why they messed up by not talking to me before the trial and treating me like a liability. But I was the only one that knew what the fuck was going on.
It's amazing.
They didn't know what was going on. She didn't know what was going on. But I was the only one that was getting everything in the middle, and I was the only one that was dealing with people.
Right.
The actual, pilgrims.
Right.
So I was the only one that had the actual knowledge of what it was taking to deal with these people and what the price was. And that's why your testimony about, the Shroud of Turin exhibits and going around doing this stuff was so important, because it knit all that in together, that there isn't any money in this.
No.
If you're doing it for money, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And if I was doing it for money, I was doing a real bad job of it.
No, if you're doing it for money, you'd have been better off taking that other deal for the kids. And when you were the place you were going to buy, and then you got derailed to come over to take. I mean, in terms of what you wanted to do for the kids and so on.
If I was doing it for money, I'd have taken the 3 times the price I paid for it
and sold it
a week and a half later that the guy came in and offered.
Right.
If I was after money, I'd have done that. No, but you take it. I'm out here.
You knew you were committed to something.
Well, I knew that
different.
I thought that souls were at stake, and this guy definitely didn't look like
I remember
he
you
was out
telling
trying
me
to help people.
I remember you telling me that. He said, this Jesus shit. I remember. He said, no, you're done. You're done.
That was one guy who said, yeah, lose the Jesus shit and I'm in. I said, well, I don't know how you can lose the Jesus shit. It was the whole reason this place is here. I didn't build it. You didn't build it. This is all built for Jesus. It's all around you. How do you get rid of it?
Can't.
Well, he was not a true believer, so it was easy for him.
You had such a road with so much opposition and cunning and backstabbing. I mean, I've never seen anything. I had a front row seat to seeing, deception, lying, and it's like I can't believe you're still standing. And on top of it, you're mowing the lawn, you're paying the bills, you're making pizza for the kids.
Yeah, long days.
Yeah. Then he calls me up one day and he said the lawnmower exploded while I was sitting on it, and it was a brand new lawnmower. And you were trying it. I couldn't believe it. It's like one story after the next. Then you tell me the stories about when you're getting the ice off of the roof and you're hanging on. You got to wait till you read his story. There's nothing like it. It's nothing like it.
The smallest man in 3 counties saved my life that day when I was hanging off the side of that building.
Who?
Little Bobby Cobbs. Little Bobby Cobbs is all about 5'2".
Yeah.
You know, he had a voice like Froggy from our gang.
Yeah.
All right. You know, and I'm hanging off the side of this building off the 3rd floor with this ice storm going on. I slipped over the side and I was just tied on by a fire hose that I had wrapped around my body, you know. And
I can't. You get.
I didn't even think about putting on a safety rope. You know,
This building is massive, and these ice is coming. I'm thinking, Larry, well, I got to do it. You know what I mean? I can't have the roof collapse.
Well, I thought the whole freezer section was going to fall under. I mean, there was this much ice.
Wow.
I mean, I kid you not. It was at least 2.5 feet deep. Wow. And I was out there trying to cut it with this hot water into blocks so I could push over the side. And it was being pretty successful, except I was making a skating rink
Down
underneath
below.
me.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and so I'm walking around, slipped over the side. And I'm hanging there, and I'm going, oh, shit.
How high are you? A couple stories up, aren't you?
I was about
3 stories?
35 feet up.
Ooh.
At that point. Something was going to break.
If you went down?
Kill me.
Oh, jeez.
You know, falling that far. Well, anyway, I'm hanging over the side, and I'm yelling, and all the guys are out in other areas. They're not hearing anything that's going on. So I'm just hanging there alone. I'm thinking, oh, shit. And I'm going, what the hell am I going to do? And then all of a sudden I hear, hang on, Larry! And I go, didn't think about that, Bob.
Here to save you.
Bobby's coming out of the 3rd floor window out onto the roof. He's trucking out. This is an old guy.
Oh, my God.
And he's coming out and goes, hang on, Larry! And I go, I didn't think about that, Bob, but get over here. You know, he gets there, and he says, we got to unhook you. I said, the hell you are. And I said, that's a long way down. He says, no, your coat's hooked. So my coat was hooked on the gutter.
Oh, okay.
And so that was helping to hold me along with this fire hose that I'd wrapped around my body to be able to handle it as I'm going out trying to shoot this hot water down. And anyway, this little fucker, I mean, he was 5'2", maybe 150 pounds. Between he and I, he pulls me up over the top of this, roof line again, and I go sliding across this ice rink that had been created like a seal coming up on the beach, so to speak, sliding across. I mean, it was like that. My arms were pinned back, and I'm like sliding across this thing like a torpedo. And he comes and helps me get inside the building. And we get inside, and he's looking at me and says, you okay? I said, yeah, thank you. I said, appreciate that. He says, oh, no problem. I said, yeah, it was a big problem. I said, you risk your life too. He goes, well, you go, I go.
It's amazing.
I said, well, this ain't Thelma and Louise. We're not going to redo that. But I told him, I said, don't tell anybody about this, because if he did, it would have freaked my wife out, my parents out, and everyone out.
You're about to die, right?
So I said, don't tell anyone what happened. And he didn't. But then Bobby then ended up dying then shortly after that.
Did he?
Yeah, he drowned in a boating accident.
Oh, my goodness.
He was fishing, and he got tangled up in something. He and his dog both died. They both drowned.
God. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's a story.
Yeah. He called his dog Bob Jr.
Did he? God love him.
He'd inherited a dog named Bob, so he couldn't change its name because his name was Bob. So he just called him Bob Jr.
Just to make sure whoever you're calling, call Bob Jr.
Yeah, call him Jr. So that was it. Well, anyway, we covered, I think, an awful lot in this. I think we need to
I think we got the main force of what's going on here.
Well, there's something in this, folks, and I'm going to be posting all this up there. I know this is a long diatribe if you stayed with us on it, but there's something that's happening here, and it's not by accident, and we're not imagining things.
No. This
is definitely not. There's too many things, connective tissue, that's going on with this that we need to be aware of.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to see what's happening, I understand. Right. But if you are interested in this, you do need to do the reading on it and make your own decisions on it, because this is what's happening, and this is how clouded the information is going to be, I think, going forward. Yeah. This is the new model.
Right. And especially with what's, like you said, what's going on in the real world as far as writing, of de-emphasizing Mary. All these things are happening, a year and a half, 2 years after this came out. I mean,
it was already in the works.
So it's real, and if you want to know about it, I think Larry's right. Pursue it and look at it. If you don't, then you don't. But we're compelled to have to. I mean, the Lord put us here to do something, and He brings things across our desk, and so we look at it. If it looks like it's something extreme importance, we present it, and that's it. We're not here to debate you. Do your homework.
I think this has been one of the most important deep dives I think we've done yet.
Do you?
Well, it's timely.
Right.
It's prescient. It's it's happening.
Yeah, and what happens that all of a sudden, like we're talking or something, and I think, well, maybe we need to revisit this or different. And next thing I know, I'm reading this stuff. Took me about an hour or so to really get it because I'm really getting it. So I said, Larry, maybe just read the thing. He goes, no, if you read it, he goes, too much. In quietness, you're able to get that, and you're getting the punchlines. He says, but here, he goes, if you read it, most people are going to tune out after the first 30 seconds because, and he's right. He's right. So hopefully what we did was try to present the bullets on this thing and have discussion. And
so it'll help you with trying to go through it yourself. When you watch our presentation, when you go to read it, it's going to help you, I think, digest this down a whole lot more properly. So you're not just gleaning over it. And I think you'll get a lot more out of it if you read it for yourselves and after having our discussion about these things how they apply.
That's right.
And I think you're going to come up with your own points of how things connect. And what I need is for folks out there is when you find these connectivity points, let us know.
Sure.
Use the comments section, because other people, we're all here trying to help each other, get through this. And it's a different world that's going on right now, not only in the world, but in the church world, and not just, for the Catholics, but I think all the churches are having some sort of a problematic adjustment going on with this modernism.
There's a meltdown in the nuclear reactor. Across the board.
The only thing that's really growing in the spiritual world right now are the transgender and LGBTQ churches.
What's going on with them?
Well, they're growing. They're getting to be more and more common.
They're growing?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Because people want to feel
good.
50% of the population endorses that, and they feel uncomfortable going to a conservative church.
Yeah, so who wants to sign up with a crucified God that suffers and then asks you to participate in that suffering? Who wants to sign up? Anybody? Well,
when they're doing that with these LGBTQ churches, whether they're not Catholic, obviously, but there are some out there that are leaning that way. And we have to stop that trend too. But
no, I had little. I'm not going to keep going with this, but you're right. At the Notre Dame football game, I met a person that the sister was involved in this craziness, and almost like a fervor, I dare you, make some bad comment about the transgender people. It's like a religion now, or what?
Oh, it is.
I couldn't believe it.
It is a religion.
And I'm thinking, and I know this girl from way back when. She used to work for me, and I'm thinking, how can you get involved in this to that extent of passion?
The compassion is to help them get out of their mental illness that's going on with this. A man cannot be a woman.
No, but they defend it like it's like a religion or something. So where did that come from?
Well, when they say a man can't be a woman, and they say, well, they can if that's how they feel and it's how they identify. And some of the debaters say, well, what if I want to, if I identify as a black woman? Well, you can't be a black woman. Well, why not? I feel like,
Yeah. That's how ridiculous
you can't do that.
That's interesting, yeah. How ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
And they see that as being ridiculous, but not a man with a penis being a woman.
Right.
But this is the religion. It's basically a religious belief that they have. But there's no God.
You're
in it.
right. No,
They
you're
become
right.
the God.
You're right. You're
I
right.
am my own God. I
Right.
determine
Right.
this thing. And this is what this one world order wants to put out there. That you
Unbelievable.
are in charge, and we will provide.
Well, to be continued.
We're in trouble.
So, we're in trouble.
Yeah. With those final words, we love you, and we'll be back.